We are here at SlatorCon in London with Volker Steinbiss, Managing Director of AppTek AI. Thank you so much for joining us today, Volker.
Thank you, Silvia, for the invitation.
Well, I would like to ask you at AppTek, you employ some of the most talented language technology and machine learning scientists in the entire world. So can you tell us a little bit about the research behind your language technology solutions?
AppTek is a company that has existed for 30 years. And about 6-7 years ago, they reached out to Professor Hermann Ney, who is one of the leading figures in machine translation and speech recognition research. And from that day on, his PhD students did not only go to Google and Apple and Amazon, but also to AppTek. And we are really happy to have them there. And the style in our company has been very much influenced by this excellent research group at the university. So it's, the usual thing. It's evaluation driven. It's very much, it's a very high level of scientific research, and it's very customer focused because we are a small company, so we are close to the customer. And what is rather unusual, that for the size of the company, we cover many fields. So it's speech recognition, machine translation. We work with LLMs, we have text-to-speech, we have some natural language processing. So it's a lot of stuff, and very unusual people really work under one roof. So there are people of different disciplines, even literally in the same room. And still, there is, it's not just everything. There is some focus. So whatever we do has to do with audio input somehow. So for example, the machine translation typically translates not manuals or so, but something that has been spoken before, has been transcribed automatically, etc. So there is this strong relationship with audio.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And also, what I also would like to add is the challenges that we are working on are very interesting. So we attract people who really like to work on hard problems, and they are very. We give them a lot of freedom in pursuing their goals. So people like working with us, and that's probably the reason we can attract really good ones.
Oh, that's great. And as you mentioned, you combine so many different fields to develop a fully automated AI dubbing pipeline. And right now, this field is really booming, and there are so many different companies that now provide AI dubbing, right? So what makes AppTek really stand out?
Well, it's amazing how many companies are there right now. Well, in order to get some overview, one has to understand that many of these companies are basically integrating technologies from other vendors. The integration is important, etc., but they often don't own the technology, or they just own one. The situation is different for AppTek, so we really go very deep with the technologies, such as, for example, the large IT companies. But that's a different story. That's really huge companies. So for a mid-sized companies, it's really unique. And the advantage when you go deep in the technology is you can fine-tune everything. You can really, if there is some challenge, you know what to do. It's not just taking something off the shelf. That's probably one thing. And another interesting property is that we also have an organization that collects data. So when collecting the data, we know what we have to take care of. And for our customers, it's very important that the data is legally sourced. That's a big competitive advantage in the professional world. So it's, okay.
That's really great. And you have so many complex challenges to focus on. And one of those that you're going to talk about later today here at SlatorCon is the challenge of conveying prosody accurately in AI dubbing. So can you give us a very brief overview of what these challenges are and how you're working to overcome them at AppTek?
Well, the point is AI dubbing as such, even not with a good prosody, is a challenge. So this is something, I gave a presentation, I was probably the first, I'm not totally sure, but I think I was the first in March 22, when I gave a presentation of the concept and a demo also in front of Mesa. Mesa is now called CDSA. And it's really tough. It's a very complex pipeline. And the technology is, if you make a mistake in the beginning, it percolates through the whole the whole chain. So this is very demanding technically. Now, assuming you have everything more or less right, what is the problem with prosody? Well, the approach that works very well these days is a pipeline approach. So let's assume you start with an English audio, right, a video or so. It's being transcribed by speech recognition, then it's being translated into, say, Spanish, and then you have the Spanish TTS. You keep track of the time markers, you keep track of the speaker identities, etc. But the point is whether it's fully automatic or whether it's being post-edited or it starts from a perfect script in Spanish, in the target language. The script has forgotten about the audio, so the emotion is gone, the stress is gone, the prosody is gone. And basically, all the experts basically think, yeah, we should have some system that covers this all, that is not pipelined, but just one big block of neural network. But it doesn't work these days. So that will be probably the future, but right now we have to live with the pipeline approach, and we have to rework the emotion and the prosody into we have to add it somehow to the text and provide it to the TTS. And that's pretty hard. So in terms of emotion, there are several approaches. You could say, we have 3 levels of happiness, we have some labels, etc., etc. You can do it automatic with a continuum. And the state of affairs, I would say, is we can do this now. It will still be getting better, but it's pretty good already. When it comes to prosody, the melody, the stress on words or so, that's pretty hard. So the extreme case is you have a language like English, where with the pitch, in raising the pitch, you show that's stressed, right? And there are other languages that use tone for something different, like Chinese or so, that just won't work. So I think the Chinese use energy or so, but if the languages are significantly different, then it's super, super hard. And otherwise, you could just try more or less copying the prosodical cue. So depending on what the exact task is, what the language pair is or so, it can be doable, or it can be, just say, it's something for the future.
Yeah. Well, so interesting. So much brilliant research, but quite a lot of challenges still to be overcome.
Yeah.
And speaking of the future, I wanted to ask you, so what is then your vision for the future in the field?
Yeah, well, I mean, the old dream is definitely bridging the language gap, right? So you could say for text, that's done already, and you would like to have that for audio. For example, for us speaking, let's assume we couldn't speak English or so, then doing something automatic, and that's all coming. So bridging the language gap when it's audio in and maybe also audio out. And that's one of the reasons it's such a big challenge is some languages are notorious for word order. I think of German, for example. So you might have to wait quite a long time until you have the part of the sentence that you can really translate. You know all that, right? So that's why interpreters have the hardest job in terms of translation or transferring meaning and so on. So that's the one thing, bridging the language gap. Another one, sure, is accessibility. So people who are hard of hearing or deaf, them just reading what somebody else says. So we work with Gallaudet University to work on that problem. Another one is for the visually impaired or for the blind. And think of children. You have a movie that is subtitled in a different language, so you can read it. But what if children can't read, or when people can see that? So that's another one where you would certainly like to have some audio output. And basically having all video content in the world AI dubbed. So that would be quite cool. And technically, I'm pretty sure we are going there, but there is, when you said what's the vision or so, there is also a threat, right? Because when you have, say, systems for free, that just do everything, and there is, you know, it might be that the quality is not just what you would like. And fear could be that people get used to bad quality or don't appreciate quality, or there is, say, the price pressure is harder than the pressure for quality. So I think it's really important that on the way people and company also strive for high quality, that there are, for example, minimum standards when it comes to accessibility, minimum quality standards, that maybe quality can be labeled, you know, something like even a human label. There will be, that's basically a consequence of the EU AI Act. There will be labels, you know, these voices are automatically generated or so, but something like an organic label, you know, completely done with humans or so, that might also be an idea that could be pursued. So keeping the quality high, I think, is really important.
Yeah, definitely. I completely agree with you. So I guess we can expect many great things coming in the future, but so many challenges still need to be overcome, which makes it a very, very exciting field. Yeah. So thank you so much for all of your insights, Volker. It was extremely interesting to have you here.
Thank you, Silvia.